get her, are not greater than free will. It is what the person does about these influences and urges, how he reacts to them, that makes a difference in his soul development. B. Cause of karma. Some things are more probable than others, but so long as there is free will, anything is possible. Thus free will and predestination coexist in a person. His past experiences limit him in probability and incline him in certain directions, but free will can always draw the sword from the stone. No soul takes on flesh without a general plan for the experience ahead. The personality expressed through the body is one of many which the individuality might have assumed. Its job is to work on one or several phases of the karma of the individuality. No task is undertaken which is too much for the personality to which it is assigned or which chooses it. Some souls choose their own entrances and set their own tasks. Others, having made too many mistakes and become dangerously subject to earthly appetites, are sent back by law at a time and under circumstances best suited to help them. The task is seldom perfectly fulfilled, and sometimes it is badly neglected. Choice of incarnation is usually made at conception, when the channel for expression is opened by the parents. A pattern is made by the mingling of the soul patterns of he parents. This sets up certain conditions of karma. A soul whose own karma approximates these conditions will be attracted by the opportunity presented, since the pattern will not be exactly his own. He must consider taking on some of the karma of the parents relatively in order to use the channel. This concerns environment, companionship, WDTH, the parents, and certain marks of physiognomy. Things other than pattern concern the soul in its selection of a body, coming situations in history, former associations with the parents, the incarnation. At about the same there is a river of souls it wishes to be with and with whom it has problems to work out. In some cases the parents are the whole cause of a soul's return. The child will be devoted to them and remain close to them until their death. In other cases the parents are used as a means to an end. The child will leave home early and be about its business. Happy smiley. The soul may occupy the body as early as 6 months before birth, or as late as a month after birth. Though in the latter case it has been hovering over the body since birth, deciding whether or not to occupy it. Once the decision is made and the occupation completed, the veil drops between the new personality and the soul, and the earthly record of the child begins. The fact that a baby is bomb dead does not mean that it was refused as a vehicle for a soul. Just the opposite is true. The chimel is withdrawn from the soul. No occupation is possible. The body is formed in the womb according to the pattern made by the mingling of the life forces of the parents, each with its respective pattern. This is the metaphysical symbolism of type 47th problem of Euclid, the Pythagorean theorem. The square of the hypotenuse of a right triangle is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. As soon as occupation by a soul takes place, the pattern of the soul begins to work its way through the body, and the Child's personality begins. The personality is a highlighted portion of the individu. Aliti, experiencing three-dimensional consciousness. The rest of the individuality remains in shadow, giving tone to the personality, urges, appreciation, tastes, avocations, and what is loosely termed charm, the background to which intuition responds. The personality is shaped by 3 or 4 incarnations. The portions of the earthly experience on which the individuality wants to work. The emotions and talents of the there is a river person reflect these incarnations. The dreams, visions, meditations, the deep, closely guarded self-consciousness of the personality is the pattern of experience among the other states of consciousness of the solar system. The intellect is, roughly speaking, from the stars. It is the mind force of the soul, conditioned by its previous experience in creation outside the solar system, and dimmed or brightened by its recent experiences within the solar system. Thus a personality is only an aspect of an individuality. A soul, deciding to experience Earth again, might assume any of several personalities, each of which would express a portion of itself. As a soul approaches completion of the solar cycle, the personality becomes more many-sided, pressing greater portions of the individuality. This is because each incarnation has less adverse karma, requiring less attention. Finally, the personality is a complete expression of the individuality, and the cycle is completed as an individuality succumbs to earthiness, abandoning intellect for emotion and emotion for sensuality. It becomes more and more one-sided. The incarnations which influence the personality reflect their patterns in the person's fee. Sometimes they mingle. A child's parents may recreate the environment of one experience, while his playmates will recreate the environment of another. Sometimes the influences work in periods. Home and childhood may recreate the conditions of one incarnation, school and college those of another, marriage those of a third, and a career those of a fourth. Usually the people and the problems of the incarnations have interlocking relationships, so that the pattern of the personality's experience is a rational development, and the problems are presented to him as he is prepared to meet them. Because the incarnations only reflect their problems, their blessings as well as their handicaps, usually there is a river. Karma of more than one can be undertaken in a single life. If the life is successful, considerable progress is made toward freedom from flesh. When a life is finished, the personality vanishes. Its pattern is absorbed into the individuality. Its record is retained, but it becomes a part of the individuality, which at all times is the sum total of what it has been, all it has thought, all it has experienced, all it has eaten, drunk, and felt through the ages. Here is an example of how extremes may meet. Both the atheist and the Christian seem to be right. The atheist says, the personality does not survive after death. The Christian says the soul is judged after death and returns to its creator. Substituting personality for soul, both are expressing a truth. the personality is judged. Returns to its creator, the individuality, and is absorbed, giving up its own independent existence. The general plan for perfecting the individuality in its experience of the solar system then proceeds. Another state of consciousness is assumed as a trial or as a means of forcing the character of a future personality. So the problems of individualities, the problems of groups, the problems of races and nations, are worked upon time and again until, by free will, they are solved, and the souls go on to other worlds, other systems, other imiverses. The readings say, "To know that thyself, in its physical state, is a part of the plan of salvation, of righteousness, of truth, of the creative forces, or God, in the earth. Each person is a corpuscle in the body of that force, called God. Each person is a manifestation of the creative forces in action in the earth. Each person finds himself with a body, that's a ks expression of itself, and a mind capable of be. There is a river coming aware of what the body presents, what are the men present, and what influences are acting upon the body and upon the mind itself. Each soul enters the material plane not by chance, but through the grace, the mercy, of a loving Father, that the soul may, through its own choice, work out those faults, those fancies, which prevent its communion and at-one-ment with the creative forces. As to whether a soul is developed or retarded during a particular life depends on what the person holds as its ideal, and what it does in its mental and material relationships. About T-hat ideal. /Lee is a purposeful experience CE. And the place in which a person finds himself is one in which he may use his present abilities, faults, failures, virtues, in fulfilling the purpose for which the soul decided to manifest in die three-dimensional plane. Know in thyself that there are immutable laws, and the universe about thyself is directed by laws set in motion from the beginning. So, as ye condemn, so are ye condemned. As ye forgive, so may ye be forgiven. As ye do unto the least of thy brethren, so ye do it unto thy Maker. These are laws, these are truths, they are unfailing. And because he may often appear slow in meting out results does not alter or change the law. An error, a fault, a failure, must be met. Though the heavens, the earth, may pass away, his word will not pass away. His word is the way, the truth, the light. Each soul must pay to the last jot or tithe. How can ye do his bidding? Not in mighty deeds not in exaltation of thy knowledge or power, but the genderness of the things of the Spirit, love, idness long-suffering, patient these. Thy elder brother, the Christ, has shown thee that there is a river who, applying them in thy associations with thy fellow man, day by day, here a little, there a little, may become one with him as he has destined that thou shouldst be. Wilt thou separate thyself? For there is nothing in earth, in heaven, in hell, that may separate thee from the love of thy God, of thy brother, save thyself. Then, be up and doing, knowing that as thou hast met in Life those things that would exalt thy personal self, these ye must lose in gentleness, in patience. For in patience ye become aware of your soul, your individuality lost in him. Your personality shining as that which is motivated by the individuality of thy Lord and Master. Thus does your destiny lie within yourself, and the destiny of the world. Hold fast to that faith exemplified in thy meditation, in thy counsels, in thy giving out to thy fellow man. For he that hides himself in the service of his fellow man through the gifts, through the promises as are in him, hides many of the faults that have made him afraid through his experience in the earth. For it is not what one counts as knowledge that is important, nor what one would attain in material realms, but what one does about that which is known as constructive forces and influences in the experience of tl happy smiley self and thy fellow man. For, as he has given, as ye do it unto others, ye do it unto me. He is the way, the life, the light. He is the Creator, he is the giver of au good and perfect gifts. Man may sow, man may act in material manifestations, in matter, of spiritual forces. Yet the returns, the increase, must come from and through him who is the gift of life. It is not a consideration of where or even how the seed of truth in him is sown. For he gives the increase if it is sown in humbleness of spirit, in sincerity of purpose, with an eye single that he may be glorified in and among thy fellow man. This is the way, this is the manner, that he would have thee follow. There is a river, let thyself, then, become more and more a channel, through which his manifestations in the earth may arise. WWK to th degree ∗FRR. He will give thy efforts that necessary force, that necessary power, to quicken even those that are asleep in their own selfishness, in their own self-indulgences, and bring to their awakening that which will make for glorious activities in the earth. Keep, then, the faith thou hast had in him, for he is TW strengthen. Me is TNY bulwark. JTLE is TNY GIN Roman in. Him VO MTWF find T hat which will bring to thee, and others, FRY haniness. And that which makes men not afraid. For he is peace, not as men count peace, not as men see. UT in that harmonious manner in which life, N of the Father in the earth, is carrot. Even case histories. The 6 case histories which follow illustrate the method. Ology of the psychic readings of Edgar Cayce in diagnosing and prescribing for physical ailments and disturbances. They do not, however, give an idea of the scope of the readings. That can be reckoned only by the measure of human misery itself. Every conceivable kind of trouble has been brought to the Cayce door since that Sunday afternoon nearly 43 years ago when he first illustrated his powers of clairvoyance. Generally speaking, Edgar Cayce's patients are his friends. People invariably like him, and once they have met him, they do not forget him. Sometimes it is difficult for the new comer to dissociate the impersonal information of the reading from the warm, friendly character of the medium. This is the point which Mr. Cayce, in explaining himself, first brings up, and continues to emphasize until the listener understands. It isn't I. It isn't anything with which I have a conscious connection. But I can lead you to it. That is my function. The rest is up to you. Your attitude will govern the kind of information you get. There is a river. This participation of the patient in the experiment, by way of mental attitude, is a point which the readings themselves constantly stress. The person who desires help, and who seeks it humbly and prayerfully, as did the patient in the first of the case histories which follow, will invariably get a better reading than the cynic who wants to be shown, or the person who has lost hope and is willing to try anything as a last resort. Consequently, those who have gotten the best results from their readings are those who have realized the spiritual implications of the experiment in which they have participated. These, for the most part, have entered into the philosophical side of the work, and gained mentally and spiritually, as well as physically. Those who have gotten least from their readings are those who have treated the phenomenon as a freak or a fad, and have but haphazardly forwarded the instructions given them. Some people allow the readings to take the place of a family doctor, getting checks for everything from a bilious headache to a head cold. Others use them for emergencies, which get beyond the wisdom of their doctors. Still others, the chronically ill, employ them as a sustaining aid, so that they may remain alive and active as long as possible. 1 woman has been getting checkups regularly for 12 years, during which time her malady has been kept under control, and she has enjoyed an active physical and mental life. The fundamental worth of a reading is, of course, the diagnosis it gives. If the phenomenon of clairvoyance is accepted as fact, the diagnosis is invariably correct. Armed VNTH it alone, most people could get well, for the remedies for almost every trouble are known. The secondary worth of a reading is the basic, far-reaching nature of the treatment it outlines. It aims at eliminating the cause, not the effect, and it assumes for its god a completely healthy body. For this reason it almost always gives instructions as to diet, eliminations, exercise, and rest. Consequently, a great many there is a river. Patients, after they feel a little better, go back to their old habits of eating too much, working too hard, exercising too little, and never achieve the well-being which their readings point out as a possibility. These people waste their own and Mr. Casey's time. But on them, fortunately, Mr. Casey does not have to depend. There are other cases, hundreds and hundreds of them, wherein the treatments have been faithfully followed, and the predicted results have been achieved, so that the reader may become acquainted with the step-by-step procedure in such cases. Half a dozen typical examples have been selected from the files, and are hereinafter set down. The history of this case is best told through the correspondence. It is a typical example of the daily requests for help. Mr. Edgar Casey, Virginia Beach, VA. Dear Mr. Casey, some time ago, I read an article in the magazine Health Culture on the wonderful work you have been doing for the past 25 years, Diagnosing Diseases Through the Subconscious Mind. The article was from the pen of Dr. Thos Garrett, NY. The article was like a ray of hope for me. Briefly, my case is this. For the past 25 years, since my ordination to the priesthood in the Catholic Church, I have been engaged in the work of young missions. About 15 years ago, while at the altar, I suffered an attack that had all the appearances of epilepsy. There is no epilepsy to my knowledge in our family. About every 3 to 4 years since that time, I have had, at the altar in all cases but one, a similar attack. You can understand life under these circumstances is very trying. Uncertainty of never knowing when an attack will come on makes life very trying. I feel like one caught in a trap. The attack is always preceded by a trembling of the hands and body, which I control. Then follows a period of unconsciousness. Knowing of the amazing gift which is yours, I am asking you to diagnose and cure my case. There is a river. Will you let me know what offering I can give you? I have very little money but will give what I can. The article by Dr. Garrett has given me such hope. Will you kindly answer this letter at your earliest convenience? An early answer would be greatly appreciated by one who has been a constant sufferer from fear these past years. Sincerely yours, dear, name. I have yours of the 25th and sincerely hope that with his help, I may be of a service to you. Thank you for writing me. I trust I may be of a service. I would not have you pay me anything. I ask that you fill out the enclosed blank or give the information asked for on it, and, if you wish to contribute anything, say a mass for my friend, a young Catholic who is in my home trying to regain his health. He was a schoolmate of my son. He is on the improve, slowly, but surely, and is a lovely and competent young man. I am sending you some data. Father, I hope you will enjoy reading it. I will appreciate any comment you may make. Only 2 readings can be given each day. The time we have set for yours is the morning of the 6th of October, 10:30 to 11:30. Estimated. We ask that, if practical, you keep the hour in prayerful meditation. Please let me know if it is convenient for you to keep that hour. Thanking you and sincerely hoping to be of a service, and asking that you remember me in your prayers, I am sincerely yours, signed, Edgar Casey. Dear Mr. Casey, your most welcome and cordial letter. Together with the readings and case histories reached me this morning. God has endowed you with an amazing power. I am seeking that power sincerely in the hope that by a permanent cure, I may be able to give my whole fee to the work of helping humanity to a better knowledge of God. This has been my work through There Is a River. 25 years in the priesthood, young Catholic missions, trying to lead people to God. Let me thank you sincerely for your kindness in making me an associate member free of charge in the Association for Research and Enlightenment. Rest assured I will say Mass for Yom, good friend. Rest assured also, Mr. Casey, I will say Mass for you, and pray for you, to the end that God may give you, through your truly wonderful faculty, the power to restore me and others to good health and a better appreciation of life's purpose. On the morning of October 6th, I will spend the hour from 10:30 to 11:30 Eastern Standard Time in prayerful meditation. This is the hour you have set aside for my reading. May God bless you. You have my sincere prayers and belief in your great work. Sincerely yours. The reading was given on the morning of October 6, 1939. The major portion of this reading follows. Yes, we have the body here, name. As we find, the general physical forces are very good in many respects. Yet there are disturbances at times which prevent the normal reactions in the body. These, as will be seen, arise TMDR conditions where strain is brought on the physical forces of the body through the very necessity of the period of consecration. This is a physical condition that, as we find, may be removed or eliminated, and thus removing from the system the causes of these disturbances. Also removing the necessity or cause for fear of any nature in relationship to same. In times back, there were periods when there was a depletion of the physical forces through the lack of supplying full nutriment to the system. This caused, in those areas, about the lacteal and umbilical plexus, a form of lesion, a tautness. Not that it affects, as yet, the liver or the spleen, or even there is a river. The gall duct's activity, though eventually, without its removal, it may cause disturbances through that area. But with the periods of activity in which there is the refraining from foods, this becomes a retroactive condition in the physical force of the body, thus producing a spasmodic reaction in the nerve forces about the area, causing a reaction through the sympathetic and cerebrospinal center from the lower portion of the solar plexus center. Thus there is an inclination for the losing of control of the sensory forces, for it produces, from the reaction, a condition at the first cervical, or through the medulla oblongata, an unbalancing, as it were, of the reflexes to the sensory centers. This, as we find, also produces in the general elimination system the inclinations at times for the lack of proper or full eliminations. When there has been, and is, the better or perfect accord in this direction, there is not such a great stress upon this disturbance in the right portion of the upper abdomen, as has been indicated, about the umbilical and lacteal duct center. Here we would find, upon examination, a cold spot. In making applications for eradicating the causes, then, we would apply each evening, for 2 evenings, the heavy castor oil packs, at least 3 thicknesses of heavy flannel, wrung out in castor oil, as hot as the body can stand same, and placed over the lower portion of the liver, gow duct and cecum area, this extending, of course, to the umbilical center. Let these remain for 1 hour at each application, keeping the packs hot by wringing out of the hot castor oil 2 or 3 times during the application. After the 2 days of applying the packs, we would begin then with the osteopathic adjustments, with particular reference to a subluxation, as will be found indicated in the there is a river lower portion of the 9th dorsal center, or 9th, 10th and 11th. Coordinate such correction with the lumbar axis and the upper dorsal and cervical centers. There should not be required more than 6 adjustments to correct the condition. 2 of the castor oil packs should be sufficient. But if, in the administration of the adjustments, it is found that this has not relaxed nor removed the cold spot, then apply the pack again. Then, be mindful that there are good eliminations, or a perfect or full evacuation of the alimentary canal each day. When necessary, use a vegetable compound as a laxative, such as or that having a senna base. These done, in the manners indicated, will eradicate the causes of the disturbance and produce throughout the physical forces of the body a better and a nearer normal reaction. Keep that attitude of consistent help, aid for others. This is in keeping with the purposes, the desires, the heart of the entity. We are through for the present. Dear name. I hope you find the information interesting and the suggestions as beneficial as so many hundreds have found them through the years. I do not know how to thank you for your letter. I can assure you that you have brought joy to the young man here, as well as to myself. We can only hope your experience with the information will be as helpful as our own has been. I will appreciate hearing from you. Thanking you and trusting to have been of some service. I am Edgar C. Akers. There is a river, dear Mr. Casey. Your reading and the suggestions for cure, also your personal letter came to me today. Thank God, and you through whom God is working, after all these years I have got, through your aid, at the root of the trouble and have had the remedies pointed out to me. The osteopathic treatments can be secured herein. I am just at a loss to know how to go about the application of the castor oil packs. They should be applied by one who has a scientific knowledge of the areas mentioned in your reading. 2. Go to a doctor here who does not understand or who has no knowledge of your truly amazing power would mean a refusal. If you could suggest someone who could apply those packs scientifically without the necessity of my going to a medical doctor, it would indeed solve my problem. I am so anxious to start the treatments at once. I said Mass this morning for your good friend. I am saying Mass for you tomorrow that God may grant you many years of usefulness to mankind. May I thank you again for your great kindness to me. I shall never forget you. Dear name, thank you for yours of the 11th. Let me tell you how appreciative my fee end is for your saying Mass for him. I thank you also for your thoughtfulness of me. Now don't think you have need to be disturbed about the castor oil packs. You can apply them more scientifically than anyone else. This is what you do. First get a large piece of flannel, such as part of a blanket. Have it sufficiently large so that, when folded 3 times, it will cover the area from the lower portion of your right rib to the point of the hip on the same side, and to the center of the abdomen and half round the right side, to the spine. Heat sufficient oil so that you can wring the folded cloth out in it. When the oil gets very warm, it is messy. Then, after wringing out the flannel in the oil, apply it directly to the re is a river body. Have other cloths and a piece of oilcloth to cover the flannel, so tie at it may not spoil the bed clothing. Apply it as warm as you can stand it. Then turn on your electric pad, and lie still for the time indicated. I am sure you can do this. Where this treatment has been recommended, it has been most effective, and I am sure it will prove so for you. When you are ready to take the oil pack off, sponge the area covered by oil with a little warm soda water. This cleanses very nicely. If I haven't been explicit enough, please don't hesitate to ask me about it. You know I will be anxious to hear how you come along with the osteopath. We can give the osteopath many references here in the States, if he wishes them. Thank you again. I hope that I have been of help in his name. Dear Mr. Casey, I am so happy to report to you that I have taken the treatments indicated in your reading for my case. Today I finished my 6th osteopathic treatment. The osteopath thinks several more adjustments are necessary to fully restore my body to complete normalcy. My Christmas greetings to you are these. May God spare you many more years to carry on the good work. I am deeply grateful to you for your kindness. I am sure as I read, and I do often, your letter, my reading, that now I can go on in the full hope that there will be no reoccurrence of the attacks that have made each day an uncertain problem. Since I began this letter, I have received your lovely Christmas greeting. God bless you with continued health and usefulness. Merry Christmas to you and your family and a Happy New Year. Dear name, thank you for yours of the 18th. To feel that I may have been privileged to be the channel for some help or aid to you, there is a river is indeed a real Christmas to me, and I can only give humble thanks for this opportunity. I sincerely hope you took sufficient of the oil packs to break up the adhesions which were described as the basis of the trouble. With this accomplished, the adjustments from the osteopath will really be more helpful. I am enclosing 2 pieces of work by my friend. He is still with us and is looking forward to having his wife and baby with him tomorrow through Christmas Day. He is very happy about this, to be sure. Slowly but surely he is improving. And if it be his will, he will continue until he is again in normal health. He is capable of making so many people happy through his work. Thanking you for your prayers and blessings, and wishing that all that is good and true be yours, I am Edgar Casey. On April 25, 1941, a request was made for a report on the case. The following letter was received with the case report. Dear Mr. Casey, I am just in receipt of your letter. Let me state that I am sure my cure is permanent. To say I am grateful to you is only half stating my feelings. I pray for you daily that God may extend your life into many years to be of service to mankind. I did not write chiefly for 2 reasons. First, I wished the element of time to prove my cure was permanent. Second, I was engaged in war work that precluded many times the possibility of correspondence. It must be a source of great comfort to you to know you are doing so much good for humanity. Let me tell you, I will never forget your kindness to me. May God bless you always. Individual case report, date of reading October 6, 1939. Case number 2019. Please answer the following questions carefully. 1. In your opinion, did the analysis of the reading cover the condition? There is a river ANS. Yes. 2. Give symptoms of the condition described. ANS attacks over a period of 9 years. These attacks looked like epilepsy. They occurred about twice a year for the period stated above. 3. What was the physician's analysis of this condition? ANS attacks had all the appearances of epilepsy. 4. Have the suggestions given in the reading been followed exactly as outlined? ANS. Yes. 5. For how long? ANS. For the period stated in the reading. 6. Describe the extent to which improvements have resulted. ANS complete cure, as far as I can judge, after the lapse of almost 2 years. ANS. I wish to state my deep gratitude to Mr. Casey. Date April 28, 1941. Signed, name. This case is not presented with the idea of furnishing additional proof of the accuracy of the physical readings. 4. Much of the information regarding the condition was given in the letter requesting the reading. Yet, detailed conditions described in the reading which were not given in the letters. Chymo be ignored. 1. Bad eliminations. 2. A cold spot about the umbilical and lacteal duct center. 3. Subluxar. Tie-ins of the 9th, 10th and 11th dorsals.